everyone, I've got another fun video and there's a giveaway, so make sure you watch to get the details. So I have this chair that I found in the garbage by a neighbor. There's a crack in like one of the side seat, you see it there, and I saw it on the side of the road and I was like, no. There's so much I can do with this. You're gonna find out here in just a minute. I'm starting off with 3 of these little paddle things. They're actually like a dry erase board, and I'm just gonna like take off the bottom part of it that gives you the handle, and I'm going to sand it. Once I've gotten that part down, I'm gonna sand it down to where it's even. Now I do this with an orbital sander, that way I'm not there all day. Now these are 2 of the legs from that chair. Now I have, obviously I cut it off, you know, to make sure it would fit. Actually, I did not, I lie. I didn't cut this one at all. I just took it all the way apart. And then this little part here, I did cut down to the size I wanted. It's part of the seating area of the chair. And I sanded it down just to give it a little bit different of a look. I mean, if you had something like this, you definitely don't have to do that. It's just kind of wanted that more distressed look. Now I am just going to put down some hot glue to hold it in place, and I'm going to go back later. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to go back later and actually screw it all in too. Once I've gotten both of those legs in there, I'm going to start adding in my little dry erase boards. This is going to be like a little to-do board for me. And this is probably not the best way to do this, but this is how I did it. I went ahead and put down the, dry erase board part, and then I'm going to put in the legs. Again, I am quite sure this is probably not the best way to do it, but I legitimately put it together and took it apart twice before this. So I was like, this is how it's going to work, because this is the way it's working for me right now. I'll put down a little bit more glue, and now I'll put where they meet is kind of like where that stick is, and if that makes sense, you know what I mean. And I go ahead and do all 3 of those pieces of dry erase board, and now I'm going to take some wooden dowels. I'm going to cut it down with my miter shears to fit, and I'll put it across, right there where the boards, the dry erase board part meet, to give it a little bit more stability. Make sure it's not going to come apart. Make sure it's not going to go anywhere, because it's hot glue. It's not that's not the greatest hold on some things, some materials. It doesn't work great on, but that's okay. We're just going to make it work. And I'm going to also put it, because that bottom board doesn't have one of the like little cross beams, so I'm just going to glue it directly to the wooden dowel. And I don't know, do I not show it? Maybe I don't. I thought I did. There we go. I was like, I know I showed it somewhere. And again, that's just going to give it a little bit more stability. And I wanted it, kind of where I could make it the same all the way up. I added some rope at the top. I just tied it. This is much thicker twine that I got from Walmart. And now I'm just going to take some Waverly chalk paint in plaster, and I'm just going to start painting on it just a little bit, just to give it a little bit extra detail. I still need to go in and actually add some like those little label holders to the front. I'm going to do today, tomorrow, next week. And it's every procrastinator's dream. I can keep moving things down. Here it is though, all finished. I think it turned out amazing. So now I've got the top part of that chair, and this is the part I fell in love with as soon as I saw it. I was like, that is a gorgeous piece of wall decor. I've seen something similar at, not IKEA, I lie, at Kirkland's. And I did pretty much the same thing. I cut off the areas that I didn't want on there, top and bottom. And then I just sanded it down with my electric sander. It's really soft, so you could probably do it by hand too. And now I am taking the same, chalk paint in plaster and I'm gonna do a little bit heavier on this piece as opposed to the last piece. I just kind of wanted it to be, a little more distressed. And what's really nice is if you put too much on, you can just wipe it down, with a little bit of like a paper towel, some water, which I believe I do show you in just a minute. But I will link for you the sanders that I have. I have 2 different ones. I have an orbital one and then one that's more like a fine tip detailed one. And see here, I've gotten just a damp paper towel, and I'm just going to wipe away any areas that I thought were too much of that white paint. So I just figured, some areas where it's a little too thick, and then I was like, well, now it just looks like I wiped away a spot. So I'll go back with some, of that same paint. I didn't add any more to the brush, just to kind of blend it in a little bit, You're just really doing this to your taste, what you like. Maybe you want more distressed, maybe you want less distressed. It's really entirely up to you. I almost thought about actually painting this completely white and then distressing just like the edges, but I love the way it turned out. I mean, I can't wait to put this up in my house. I already know where it's going. So don't forget, today is part of a challenge. This is Crystal, the purple pixie. She is just the sweetest, sweetest lady that you could ever hope to meet. I would definitely recommend checking out her channel. And today is part of her monthly collaboration that she does. And it's all about crafting with trash, saving our earth. She calls it a cool lab. I love it. I'm going to have the link for you below for the challenge and her channel. Please go make sure you check her out. And she is going to be donating all of her Buy Me a Coffee stuff from her video over to Fisher House. And you guys know all about Fisher House by now, I'm sure. And we're going to go ahead and get back into our DIYs. So I'm starting off with one of these candle holders. Obviously, you can tell I've used it before. It's just kind of recycling something. And this is a takeout container. It's very classy, I know. But of course, our Waverly chalk paint in plaster to the rescue. I gave it one full coat first, and I put on all of my little dots around kind of one of the spots in there. And then I'm going to cover that completely with some Mod Podge. And see, now we also did, of course, another paint coat on top of that, just because the plastic was not holding on to that paint. And I will add some E6000 and some hot glue to go ahead and attach my little pillar candle holder thing. That did come from the Dollar Tree, but like I said, it is recycled from a previous project that I'll be honest, I wasn't 100% in love with. So that's what all of this is about today, though, is just recycling, reusing, just using up stuff we may usually throw away. Now I'm going to take my antique wax from Folk Art, and I'm just going to bring out some of those details. Now, if you have a little container like this, you can also give it a lot of that like black enamel. I thought about it, and I just went with this. Here it is all kind of styled up and ready for you. I just love it. Like I mentioned, today is a giveaway, so all you have to do to be entered is make sure that you comment on both my video right now, here, today, you're here already, and you go ahead and do the same on to Crystal, the Purple Pixie's channel as well, on her video. And since you're there, you may as well just go ahead and to subscribe, and we are giving away a $40 Amazon gift card. I'll have the rest of the details in the description box for you to check out, and let's go ahead and get back into our DIYs. Now, this is another recycled, project that I've used before. It's really just a wood crate from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to kind of paint over the backing part of it. I painted it brown. I'm really not sure why I painted it brown, because it doesn't look great. And if I remember right, there was nothing in it you could even see the back of it. So I thought I was just going to do like a light brushing, but I kind of just went all in on it. Once that's done, though, I am in the same paint color. I am just going to coat this Frappuccino bottle. Now, I actually really liked the way it looked, and then I was skillful, and I just put the lid of my antique wax on the top. I was like, wow, way to go. But I did do 2 coats of the plaster colored paint with a foam brush, kind of just up and down, and really smooth motions. Now I have some wood beads, again, used on another project. I'm just going to heat gun off all of the glue and give it a full good coat of the plaster paint. Again, I feel like I could do a drinking game of this. And then I'm going to use the antique wax again, and I'm just going to brush that on lightly to those. These are just going to be little feet, so it doesn't need to be perfect. They're not overwhelmingly visible, but it's okay. We're just going to make some of these little pieces that didn't work for us today. Of course, as you see, I use the skewer method for painting. And now I'm just going to take a little dab of some Gorilla wood glue. And I don't know why, I just prefer to apply it with a paintbrush as opposed to like the little nozzle. I always get it like all gunked up, so I just use a paintbrush. and I will do a little bit of hot glue. I'm leaving it almost on like 1/2 of the bead so that I can have the other half of the bead kind of in contact with the wood glue. I think that makes sense, because obviously, so if you double them up, you end up having them not work. So word to the wise. And I will then add a little bit of hot glue just onto the back part of the beads, just to give it a little more added security. And now that that is done, and I've got my cute little bottle, I am going to take some scraps of fabric that I had left over from another project, and I'm just going to kind of, push it in there. I have some blues and yellows on my dining room table, so I thought this would be a cute little addition. And I'm going to add some twine to the top of that bottle just to give it a little something extra. And here it is with my little yellow flowers. They're just adorable. Thanks everyone for all of your love and support that you've had all month long for me and my Crafting Because of the Brave mission. It's been so rewarding and so tiring. So I am going to take off next week. I won't be having a new video out for you, but I'll be back very, very soon with a bunch of really fun videos. And until then, I will see you next time.